every year it seems like there's some teams that don't get enough credit. Hell, the Bengals and Rams were not considered Super Bowl favorites even heading into the postseason. Some say the Vikings have kind of a fraudulent 7-1 record, and in fact, I think I kind of agree, but I also think they've gotten better since then. They added TJ Hockenson, who I think has been a huge impact already. I think they could potentially be Super Bowl contenders, and that's why they were good enough to barely beat the Washington football team. Wait, what? Okay, I get that that sounds weird, but trust me, I do think that they're very good, even though this game was maybe a bit odd. So let's just get into it. All right, let's start off with this play. Let's start off talking about TJ Hockenson and what he was able to do for the Minnesota Vikings. So, play like this is kind of a good example of really why I was so high on this trade and why I think it really does kind of change the dynamic of the Vikings a little bit, is having a third option always just makes things that much more difficult for defense. Two options is still tough, especially when those two options are Thielen and Jefferson, but a third option just adds stuff. And this is an example where you have Hockenson, he's the route that I've circled in white the end of, that's his route, but you also have Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen lined up on that side of the field. So if you're a defense, who are you looking at? First Jefferson and then Thielen, right? That's the way that you're viewing this. And so because of that, when Cousins takes a snap, you see that Washington pretty much just lets Thielen go further deep. They're trusting the safety. They do have safety help, so that's part of why they're doing it. But they're trusting the safety to come in and make a play as they spend three players over the middle covering Jefferson and Thielen. And they're really paying the most attention to Thielen on this play, more so than Jefferson, interestingly enough. I think Jefferson actually could have gotten a little bit open as well, but not as open as Hockenson. As you see, Cousins makes this throw. Hockenson makes, the grab, gets wide open on that play. And this is exactly what you're hoping happens early and often for the Vikings, is these types of plays, is too much attention gets put on Jefferson and Thielen, which it's almost unfair to say too much attention because those guys deserve a lot of attention. But if enough attention gets put on them, Hockenson will get open consistently. Going over to something like this now, this is another, again, it's a simple play, but this is the stuff that just works with the Vikings. And listen, I feel like I've said this a lot this week making these videos. The simple plays are the ones that you want to have happen. If plays are being simple and plays are working, that's a good thing. You want simplicity and you want to be able to make your offense look easy. The best offenses look easy at times, and the Vikings offense did at times look easy in this one, where it's really Justin Jefferson, who just, he's elite, he's a star. It's a zone coverage play that they're going up against, and you see the route that Justin Jefferson is running. You're going to see Cousins run this play action because, you still have Dalvin Cook, so you see that Jefferson's able to get open. That is something we should mention, is Dalvin Cook still does demand respect, and even if he isn't having the season that we've seen him have statistically, big part of Cook's value is just the name on the back of his jersey, and the fact that he isn't running the ball as much might be a good thing, keeping him healthy. So that's still a lot of value there. You do see how Washington gets very out of position over the middle. Jefferson is able to make this grab, and they're able to pick up a big gain. So again, just kind of these simple things is what the Vikings are doing well. This is why the Vikings are looking good. Now again, you're going to be sitting here wondering, wait a second, Jackson, didn't they kind of struggle against the Washington football team, the team that I'm still not exactly sure why they decided to name themselves what their name is, the Commanders, to the point where I even called them the Washington football team because that's more exciting to me? Well, yes, that is true. What happened there? Well, let's talk about it. So, there were some issues. Something like this was a big issue, which was they weren't winning against man coverage as much as you would like them to. They still did get their wins. We'll talk about that in a second, but they got their losses as well. And some of it might just be, guys need to play a little bit better. Something like this. It's Adam Thielen in a one-on-one matchup. So something you would like to see them win. Watch as Kirk Cousins takes the snap. He is going to look towards his right. There is not a ton of separation. Maybe a move could have gotten himself a little bit open, but it's also not like he can't get open here. Like Cousins makes this throw and it's just a bit too far. Thielen isn't able to make the grab. So listen, those guys do hit on those plays still a decent chunk. They didn't hit on them as much in this game, but the reality is I'm expecting the Vikings, that kind of be more of a fluke. I'm expecting them to win on those situations more than they had won on those situations. Like going over here, this is the ultimate fluky play that really hurt the Vikings and probably could have, again, they had a few fluky plays that went against them. This is definitely one of them where it's Justin Jefferson one-on-one on the outside against the corner here. Cousins takes a snap. He sees that, okay, this is going to be a true one-on-one matchup. Cousins is not making a decision now. Cousins has made his decision. He's throwing to Justin Jefferson. If you get Justin Jefferson one-on-one on the outside in an end zone situation, you try to hit Justin Jefferson. It's that simple, really. Cousins throws this one up, and kind of uncharacteristically, Jefferson isn't quite able to make the grab there and ends up getting intercepted. I mean, talk about a fluky play. That could have very easily been a touchdown. Instead, it's an interception. I mean, that's just one of those where it's like, that completely can change the dynamic of a game. What can also change the dynamic of the game is when a referee body checks a safety, which turns an interception into a touchdown the other way for the Washington football team. But that's, we're not talking about that side of the ball. We're talking about the offense. But yeah, I do kind of look at it as there is an element of luck in football. I do think that there were some times when, the ball bounced the Washington football team's way, but again, I trust that this Vikings team is good. Like, finally, something like this is just kind of, again, the main example of, like, this is still what they can do. Yes, okay, great. You were able to win against man coverage. Well, what's your solution? Is that your solution, to play man coverage against this Vikings team? To have guys try to cover Justin Jefferson one-on-one, like what's going to try to happen here with no safety help, a one-on-one matchup on Justin Jefferson? That's your solution to try and beating this Vikings offense? Because watch as when Cousins takes the snap, you see Jefferson at this point, again, you can't tell that there's about to be separation, but what you can tell is that the player who's covering him is currently perfectly lined up with him right now. So when Cousins does make this throw, Jefferson's able to blow by him and is able to make that grab, picks up a huge chunk play right there. Listen, say what you want about it being Washington, whatever. That's just a situation where Jefferson can do that against any team. Any team, he can find a way to do that. If you leave him one-on-one, he is going to take advantage, and that's definitely something that he can do, and that's part of why I think that this Vikings team is so effective, is they have the number one guy who can go out and win in those types of situations. You have a good number two option in Adam Thielen, who definitely, I know that maybe he didn't have his best day in this one, but he is still someone who wins consistently against one-on-ones, especially when you give him easier matchups, because Jefferson is taking on that situation. And if you try to really just play deep and make sure you don't get beat over the top, Hockenson can beat you over the middle. So, and again, you also still do have Dalvin Cook in there. So you have all these options, and it's a perfect situation with someone like Kirk Cousins, who I still feel, Cousins is a solid quarterback. Cousins might not be a superstar, but he is someone who, you give him all the right pieces, he can definitely be effective. It's actually pretty similar to maybe a Matt Stafford situation, who I remember I got some criticism for ranking Cousins higher than Stafford in my quarterback rankings last year. I had them one spot higher. So again, to me, they're the same tier. In my opinion, I do think that Cousins can be, if he's in a similar situation to what Stafford was in last year, he can potentially win a Super Bowl if things go right. Now, things have to go right. A lot has to go right to win a Super Bowl, but can they win a Super Bowl? In my opinion, yes. And a big part of it is because of what their team is at currently. So that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.